Good morning, everyone. One of the great quotes from Shimon Peres was that the optimists and the pessimists die the same way, but they live completely different lives. One of the greatest gifts that any parent or any leader, whether it's a president or a leader or a parent, can give a child or a citizen or anyone is confidence. Confidence is one of the greatest indicators of people's trajectory of life, because when you're positive and you're optimistic, you could overcome all sorts of challenges and setbacks and disappointments because you're always looking to the future with optimism. There's an old adage that says, if you say you can or if you say you can't, you're right, because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This week's Torah portion is the story of confidence and lack of confidence. It's the story of the 12 spies that Moshe sends to the land of Israel. And famously, in this week's Torah portion, 10 of the 12 spies come back and say the famous words, "We were like grasshoppers in their eyes." Instead of having confidence, now where does confidence come from? It comes from past performance, planning, and faith in God. They had past performance, all the miracles that they witnessed, the splitting of the sea, the 10 plagues. All the nations of the world trembled when they heard the splitting of the sea, as it says in the Az Yashir. They should have had tremendous faith in God. And they had a plan, God's plan, to bring them into the land of Israel. They had all the elements and all the reasons to be faithful, hopeful, and confident. But instead they shriveled up and said, "We were like grasshoppers in their eyes." How did they know that they were grasshoppers? Because they projected that. They felt like grasshoppers, therefore they believed they were grasshoppers, they were small. And if you believe you're small, you are small. And that became a national tragedy as the people wept, and God said, that's it, this generation, they don't have the courage and the confidence to go into the land of Israel. They still think and feel like slaves, they can never come into the land of Israel. On the other hand, there were 2 good spies who said, yes, we can do it, we can achieve it. And the beginning of the parsha is the story of the spies. The end of the parsha is the mitzvah of tzitzit. Why? Because there's supposed to be a blue thread in the tzitzit, which reminds us to look up at the heavens. The reason we have a blue and white ceiling here in the shul is to remind us of the blue of the heaven. But the white also reminds us of the clouds. And when you look up to the heaven, you can either see all the clouds. That's what a pessimist does. He sees all the clouds. The optimist sees the blue skies. And the blue in the tzitzis reminds us, focus on the blue skies. Have hope. Have optimism. Now, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs makes an interesting observation. He says, what's the difference between optimism and hope? He says, optimism is just a belief that things are going to work out. Hope is a belief that we can make things work out better with the help of Hashem. Jews have no reason to be optimistic. Our history is full of tragedy. Why should we think things are going to work out well for us? But we have every reason to be hopeful because we've seen the hand of God time and again in Jewish history. And therefore Jews, kaveh Hashem, put trust and faith in God. And that's where our positivity, that's where our optimism, that's where our hope comes. Despite all the hardships that we've experienced. And today we're remembering Holocaust survivors who lost their lives. And you say, why should we have optimism for the future? And the answer is we never lose our hope and our trust in Hashem despite everything we've endured. And a person who's positive and optimistic, they will achieve what Kalev and Yeshua achieved, to see the promised land in their personal life. But a person who's pessimistic, like the other 10 spies and the Jews who followed them, will remain wandering in the wilderness and never achieve the promised land. There's a story told about parents who had 2 children. One was very positive, optimistic, hopeful all the time. The other one was negative and pessimistic. And the parents wanted to change this child and make them more positive. So it was their birthday. They were twins. They bought them presents. They brought the pessimistic child into a room. They said, look what we got you for your birthday. It was a room filled with toys, wall to wall, floor to ceiling. And they said, this is your birthday present. And this pessimistic child says, oh, it's terrible. They said, what's the matter? We bought you all these toys. Oh, I'm going to have to buy so many batteries to operate all these things, and I don't have enough shelves to put all my toys, and I'm going to have to clean them up every day. It's going to be such a hassle. And goes on and on fetching. And then they take the positive, optimistic child into a second room. And pardon my whatever, there was a room filled with dung. And they say, this is your birthday present. And the girl starts skipping around, yay, so excited. They say, what are you so happy about? He said, with all of this, there must be a pony somewhere. A person who's optimistic and faithful and has hope nothing gets them down. They're always looking to the future. Person who's negative, unfortunately, is the opposite. That's why the two bookends of the parsha is the story of the spies, which is this tragic story, and the antidote, which is the mitzvah of tzitzit. Always look up to the heavens, don't look down, always see the blue skies. The clouds will pass, but the blue skies will be there forever.